Powerful practical lessons from the life of Daniel and his friends. Is here Daniel? Danny? Yeah, Danny is here. Okay. I will not take much time. I will just highlight some practical lesson what we can learn from the life of Daniel and his friends. When we read the book of Daniel, we find this beautiful story of this young man. And the young man, Daniel and his friends, when we study the history, we find in the Bible in 605 BC, this young man were brought from Israel to Babylon. They were in captivity, they were in hostage, they were under the Babylon king. The name of that king was Nebuchadnezzar, and this king was very clever king. But these three friends had changed the life of this king. Nebuchadnezzar king life was changed by Daniel and his friends. And there is very interesting story. Okay, that entire story I will not tell you, but I will try to bring some lessons so that the days to come you can find out the time and read about them. Okay, first lesson I would like to highlight here. Before that, actually they were away from their home. Okay, Daniel, his friends, they were away from their home, just like you are away from your family and your home, you are in hostel, and they were in the king palace. The context and circumstances were similar to that. They were not with their parents, their family, but they were away from their parents and family. They were living in the palace, but they were not peacefully living there. They were just like a slave young boys. But the purpose they were brought into the palace, there was very significant purpose for their life, and that was they were to be trained under the Babylonian king. Okay, they need to learn and equip themselves to become a great equipped officers in the Babylon. Okay, that was the purpose. And the same context, you are here to study hard, develop yourself and become a great leader in the future. That is the purpose of your parents to send you here, right? That's absolutely the purpose. Okay, the first lesson I want to highlight here from the life of Daniel, the first lesson is they had a discipline in their life. Daniel and his friends, they had discipline in their life. When you read the book of Daniel, chapter 1 and verse 8, it says that Daniel decided not to defile himself with the king delicious food. Okay, he decided in his heart and his mind, and his friends also decided not to have the king delicious food. And that was the decision they made, and that was their decision. It means they were very disciplined. Even though they were away from their home, but still they were disciplined, well disciplined in their faith, because their parents must have taught them not to eat defiled food, not to drink, not to smoke, not to do tobacco. Okay, I'm just saying, into this context, they were taught not to do such things. Okay, and even they were disciplined in their faith, because when they were in the palace, when they were in the Babylon, they were away from their parents, they were away from their friends, in the context of their hometown, their relatives, they were away from them, but they were in this palace, but they were strong in their faith. They were well disciplined in their faith. They were taught from their childhood that you should respect your God. You should respect your God, and they continue that practice. They did not disobey their God. They always keep that faith which they were taught in their childhood, that faith in their God. And they were disciplined in their practice of food, because in this a certain food was avoided by Jews. They were not allowed to eat some meat, some kind of special food. They were not allowed to eat, and they continue practice that that practice in their life. It means they were well disciplined. Discipline, what does it mean? Discipline actually is not to just obey the rules, not just follow what is told you, but actually you are following and living that practical life. You are following that discipline with a positive approach, with a positive approach, with a purpose. Even though these children were brought to the Babylon, they were slaves, they were not treated well, but still there they were positive. They were having a positive approach towards that circumstances. Still here you don't have good place to sit, but still you are sitting. That's good thing. It means you are positively taking that. That's good thing. Here the same thing was with Daniel and his friends. And then when we read about them, we will find more good thing in their life. Even though they were disciplined to respect the king and authority, when king assigned food for Daniel and his friends, they did not protest. They did not say, we will not have this food. This food is not good for us. We don't like this food. This food is not delicious or not tasty. It is not good food that we used to have in our place. This is tasteless. This is useless. We don't want to have that. They did not protest. But what they did, they told the officer who was assigned to look after them, they told to him, sir, we request you not to give us that food. And see, the person who was their leader, he gladly accepted that. He said, okay, but let me find out. Let me test you first. 10 days, you have simple food, what you like, and I will examine you. If after 10 days, your faces looks good, then I will consider that I'll provide you the simple meal as you wish, as you like. And then they were agree, and they had 10 days simple meal, what they requested to their boss, their leader, their house master. And after 10 days, they were found very handsome, very healthy, and then that leader accepted and granted their permission, and then thereafter they were provided that food which they requested. Okay, it means they were very disciplined to respect their leader, their house master, their teacher. Above them, the leader, they respected that. They did not protest. This discipline is very important. You also should learn this. Sometime you may not like food, sometime you may not like many things, but what you need to do, should always respect. Okay, always approach with good attitude, always request and ask the permission, and then God will give the favor, and God will definitely help you. And the same thing happened with Daniel and friends. They were granted the request which they asked. And then another thing we find in the life of this young man, even they were disciplined to be evaluated. Okay, they were disciplined to be evaluated because king after some time asked them to bring them to the palace, and Daniel and friend were brought to the palace, and then king himself examined them. He took their interview. It means this young man were studying hard. They were equipping themselves well, prepared. They are equipping themselves, because if you know that you have to give interview, you will prepare yourself, right? You will work hard. If you know you have exam next day or test next day, you will prepare well. And the same thing happened with Daniel and friends. They were studying hard. They were equipping themselves. They were preparing themselves. And when the king interviewed them, he found them 10 times extra wise, smart, very smart. And he selected them and appointed them to be the officer of his palace. Just imagine with me, this young man who were slave. This slave young man became officer in the Babylon. Do you want to become great leader in future? If you want to become, what you need to do? You should have to discipline in your life. Okay, discipline is very important. If you do not have discipline, you will spoil your life and you will spoil other life as well. But if you have discipline, you will be blessed, and through you many people will get blessing. Okay, that lesson we should learn from the life of Daniel. And friends, the second lesson I want to highlight here. First lesson, what I said to you, he was disciplined. And the second lesson, Daniel and his friends, they were willing to learn. They were willing to learn and grow. The second thing, when you read the verse 17 here, we find that actually they were very eager to learn. And when they were eager to learn, God also blessed them. God also blessed them. It is written that God gave them knowledge, skill in all literature, and they were wise. They were wise. In all literature, God gave them wisdom. They were eager to learn. They were eager to grow, and because of their eagerness, because of their passion, because of their open mind to learn, God blessed them and God gave them wisdom. Do you need wisdom? Do you need knowledge? Do you want to skill in all the subject?
Yes.
All the literature?
Yes.
Yes. To say is very easy. But for that, what you need to do? You need to work hard. You need to work hard. And if you work hard, if you have desire to learn, God also will bless you. This young man had a desire to learn, eagerness to learn, their mind was open to learn, and because of that, God blessed them. God gave them wisdom, God gave them knowledge, God gave them skill, okay, to learn and smartly present their things, and God blessed them. And the second thing what you can learn from their life, they were willing to learn and grow. When you came here, you can evaluate yourself. What was your status? How was your condition? But now, just evaluate yourself. Are you growing or you are same as you came here? Evaluate yourself. Okay? Evaluate yourself. Of course, physically you may be growing, but mentally also you should grow. If you are not growing, that means if some growth is not taking place, that means things is dead. If tree is not growing, it means she is dead. Tree is dead. The same thing in our life. If we are not growing, something is wrong with us. That wrong, you need to find out. And ask God to give you wisdom, give you knowledge, give you understanding so that you can skill in your study and all the activities that you take part. May God help you, and God will definitely help. God help those who help themselves. Okay? Remember this statement. God helps those who help themselves. God helped Daniel and his friends, and God will help you also. He will give you wisdom, He will give knowledge, He will give understanding, He will give you skill to become a great future leader. Okay? The second lesson we can learn from their life. And because of this willingness to grow, as I said, let me read verse 20. It says, all the matter of wisdom and understanding about which the king examined them, he found them 10 times better than others. 10 times better than others. 10 times better means what? 10 times better than others. He found them. Who? King found them. In your context, teacher found BCRS student are better than 10 times better than other student. Hosteler are 10 times better than student. How? It will happen. You need to work hard. You need to work hard. God will bless you. Okay. The third and final thing I'll say and just conclude. Okay. The third lesson what we can learn from the Daniel and friends, they were bold. They were bold and always trusted their God. They are bold, strong. They were courageous to present themselves to the king, and even they were very bold, always, but they always trusted their God. When you read this story, chapter 2, you will find king was very clever, very smart. Okay, king had a dream, and that king told to all the officers, all the magicians, all the sorcerers, all the wise men of Babylon. He said to them, he said one thing to them: you tell me my dream. You tell me my dream. I had a dream and I am now sleepless. I am not able to sleep properly. You tell my dream and then interpret that. All wise men came there. They were very surprised. King said to them, tell me first my dream. If you tell my dream, what I had a dream, if you tell me that dream, you can interpret that. But if you don't tell me that dream, how you will interpret? If I tell my dream to you, you can easily cook up a story and tell me. That's true, right? But he's a very smart king. He said, tell me first my dream and then interpret that. No one was there to do that. Then king was very furious. He was very angry. What he said? He said, kill all the wise men. Kill all the wise men. But do you know what happened? Daniel told to king, king, give me some time. Give me some time. Don't kill all the wise men. If all the wise men is killed, then what will happen? Give me some time. I will interpret. And do you know, when Daniel and friend, they spent the time in the presence of God, they trusted their God. God gave wisdom to Daniel, and Daniel was able to tell the dream of king. And do you know, when king heard his dream, what he had from the Daniel, he was very happy, and he fell down on the feet of Daniel and said, Daniel, your God is a great God. Your God is great God, and He is the Lord of Lords, and He is the Lord of Kings. And that day itself, king told to Daniel, Daniel, you will be the ruler and governor of Babylon. Just think with me. A young man who was brought as a slave became a governor of a country called Babylon. Do you want to become such a successful in your life?
Yes.
Become bold. Be strong and bold and trust God. Okay? Bold means what? Have a step of faith, okay, towards your God. Always trust, not trust on your ability, but trust God. God will help you. May God bless you and help you to become like a Daniel and his friends. And you will definitely success in your life, in your career, in your future. If you discipline yourself. Second, if you, what you do? Open to learn. And third thing, bold and trust your God. God will bless you. May God bless us.